God bless you, loved ones. Welcome to the Word with Chester. Today we'll begin study in the 45th chapter of the book of Genesis. I thank God for all of you that are logging on. It's a blessing to me to know that you're watching. I encourage you to continue sending me that thumbs up, or like me on Facebook, or follow me on Twitter and the other places on the World Wide Web. I want you to know it means so much to me to know that we have an audience and you're listening and watching this ministry and really getting something out of it. Thank God for the words of many of you. Some of you say, well, I didn't know that. You let me know for the first time I heard it in that light. And I want you to know that how good that makes me feel that God is using me in this entity. Shall we begin our reading today in verse 1 of chapter 45? The Bible reads, "And Joseph could not contain himself before them who stood by him, and he cried, cause every man to go out from me. And there stood no man with him, while Joseph made himself known unto his brethren." Well, get the picture now. Those of you that did not listen to our last lesson, it is archived. You can go and listen to it. But Joseph, he was not made known to his brethren yet. You have to understand, Joseph was given an Egyptian name, which they called him in Egypt. And also, you have to understand the royalty that Joseph had. Number 2 man to the king himself. So he had all of the dignity that went with it, all the fine array and the well-grooming and everything that goes along with being number 2 man of a nation. Well, the brothers did not know that this was Joseph as yet, and so Joseph cried and caused every man to go out, and there stood no man with him, while Joseph made known himself to his brethren. In verse 2, and he wept aloud, and the Egyptians and the house of Pharaoh heard. They heard Joseph cry. They heard him weep. Verse 3, and Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph. Doeth my father yet live? And his brethren could not answer him, for they were terrified at his presence. They were terrified for more reasons than one. I would imagine their mind went to what they did to him. When he was a young lad, number 1, talked about him and mocked him, and then sold him into slavery, put him down in the pit, waiting on him to die, all these type of things. Can you understand how Joseph must have felt? How these brethren must have felt, and being terrified that Joseph had the power to do anything that he wanted to do with them. Well, let's read on in verse 4. And Joseph said to his brethren, Come near me, I pray you. And they came near. And he said, I am Joseph, your brethren, whom ye sold into Egypt. And therefore be not grieved nor angry with yourself that ye sold me here. For God did send me before you to preserve life. And these 2 years has the famine been in the land, and yet there are 5. In other words, there's been 2 years that the famine has been going. This is your second time to come down here to buy food now in only 2 years, and we got 5 more years of famine left, in which there shall neither be plowing nor harvest. This is how severe the famine was. There wasn't going to be any plowing nor harvesting. And God sent me before you to preserve you a prosperity in the earth. God sent me to preserve you a prosperity on the earth. Talking about the children of Israel. And to save your lives by a great deliverance. God sent me here for you. You got to understand, they remembered they selling him into slavery, but Joseph had the right mindset in knowing that this is the Lord's doing. It's not your doing. Now, maybe you did have evil intentions, but you know what? God was in the plan. That was just a vehicle it took to get me where I am, to preserve your life. That was verse 7. I'm going to read it again. And God sent me before you to preserve you a prosperity in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance. Shall we read on? And now it was not you that sent me here, but God. Get that picture. picture. It wasn't you that sent me here, but God. And he hath made me a father to Pharaoh. That's a small f. Made me a father to Pharaoh. In other words, Pharaoh could come to me and talk to me. Pharaoh could get advice from me. Made me a father to Pharaoh, and the Lord and Lord of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. Can you understand? Joseph is letting them know that God did this. You may have did it for evil, but you know God's hand was in it. Otherwise, I would not be where I am. Shall we continue reading in verse 9? Haste ye and go up to my father, and say to him, Thus saith thy son Joseph, God hath made me Lord of all Egypt. Come down unto me, tarry not. Well, he wanted his dad to come down to him. Shall we continue in 10? And thou shalt dwell in the land of Goshen, and thou shalt be near unto me, and thy children, and thy children's children, and thy flocks, and thy herds, and all that thou hast. Bring it all here. It's enough for everybody. I got the power. I got the authority. I'm going to make room for you. I was sent here to preserve you a prosperity. Keep that in your mind. And in verse 11, and there will I nourish thee, for yet there are 5 years of famine, lest thou and thy household and all that thou hast become to poverty. If you don't come down here with me, you'll come to poverty. In other words, I'm laying a foundation here. I'm laying something out there for you to come so you won't have to live in poverty. In verse 12, and behold, your eyes see, and the eyes of my brother Benjamin, that it is my mouth that speaketh unto thee. Well, in other words, look at the resemblance of me and my brother. Well, let's continue reading in 13. And ye shall tell my father of all my glory in Egypt, and of all that ye have seen, and ye shall haste and bring down my father here. Go quickly and bring my father to me. Verse 14, and he fell upon his brother Benjamin's neck, and wept, and Benjamin wept upon his neck. What a reunion. They knew who he was. And can you understand the love for his brother? Not just one brother, but all of his brethren. But Benjamin was special because that was his full-blood brother of his mother Rachel. Let's read verse 15. Moreover, he kissed all his brethren and wept upon them. And after that, his brethren talked with him. They sat down and had a reunion. And they possibly talked about old times and possibly talked about how his father was and how things were back there in Canaan with his father and in the entire family. We're going to talk about this further in our next lesson. I encourage you to be here. These are great stories. You can get so much from them. We're learning the God of the Bible, how he dealt with people and why he dealt with people. There's a reason. He didn't put his energize these people with his spirit, or he did not just do it for nothing. They had a specific job to do. Remember, we're finding the God of the Bible. We're going to know about the God of the Bible and know what he was doing and what he was accomplishing through using these individuals. I encourage you to stay with us. If you stay with us, you will have read through this complete Bible, verse by verse and chapter by chapter. I want you to know that I love you, my friends. I love you with the love of the Lord. If you would like to contact me for any reason, you can reach me at the Word with Chester Ministries, Post Office Box 200483, San Antonio, Texas, 78220. You can also reach me from my website, www.poems, P-O-E-M-S, by Chester.com. Well, remember our CD. When you purchase this CD, you will be blessed, and you will also be a blessing to this ministry. Remember, this coming Saturday night, the 30th of November, we'll be singing at the Grand Hyatt Hotel in San Antonio, Texas, 600 East Market Street. If you're in the San Antonio area, stop in. I want to shake your hand. I want to embrace you and let you know that I love you with the love of the Lord. God bless you.